First and foremost, chat, we got this video today. Let's get into this. Shout out this creator, bro. He's a good Siege creator.
Matter. If you get to this
What is
point,
English,
it
bro?
won't matter how bad your teammates are, you will still win most of your games. And in this video, I'm going to teach you exactly how.
Solo queue video?
Step-by-step plan to win every gunfight, to how to make sure you are always the one with peeker's advantage, even if the enemy pre-fires you. I'll also teach you how to take gaps and abuse time so you can win more games. If you have any questions, follow my Twitch, and let's get started. If you want to be so good that your teammates do not matter in your ranked games, you need to be able to win gunfights. So this is the ultimate guide for gunfights, so that way, as long as you don't whiff, you will never lose another gunfight. All it is a 3-step
I'm
process.
cooked then.
You need to, one, get
I fucking
info.
whiff all the
you
time.
can either get info using a drone if you're on attack or playing Echo, or you can get it from just a simple quick peek like this. Now that you know where he is, he's right here, you need to get an advantage in that gunfight. There are a couple ways to do that. If you are on attack, then you can throw a flashbang, right? For example, I could bounce it off of this wall here, and it would land over here, forcing him off the angle and giving you an advantage in the swing. You could also use utility. So let's say you're playing Thorn. You can kind of quick peek and throw a Thorn mine over there. This will force him off of the angle, and it will force him to shoot the Thorn mine as well, meaning his crosshair placement will be screwed up, and you can push up. Or there's also just peeker's advantage if you're confident in your aim. Because if
Shoot
he's
through the
holding
wall.
this angle here, if you swing and pre-fire, then you will kill him before you are even on his screen. Now, the third step is taking space. So if you get an advantage, right? Let's say I throw a Thorn mine at him to get him off the angle. The next step is taking space, right? So he's not going to be on the angle. So now you need to not be swinging this angle directly. You need to take space and push up this way. This way, whenever he gets back on the angle, all of a sudden you appeared out of thin air and catch him off guard. So this in practice
How long are you
looks
gonna
something
be
like
on? I'm
this,
at the
right?
movies
So
with
you
my girl.
quick
I'll be
peek,
on for a
throw
while.
the Thorn mine. He's off of the angle, he gets back on the angle, and he doesn't expect you pushing up here.
Bless me.
Any of the options in combination, if you do that, you will have a huge advantage in every
I'll be streaming for a
single
while.
gunfight you take. If you are solo queuing, the goal is to not rely on your teammates. So to accomplish that, you need to be able to watch every single angle. So for example, if I want to hold upstairs on tellers, then there are a lot of spots I need to watch. I need to watch them pushing from this direction. I need to watch them pushing this double door, maybe east stairs. I need to watch them jumping in this window. Maybe they open up triple wall. There's a lot of things for me to watch. So what you should be doing is using an operator like Thorn, because this will allow you to place barbed wire here, meaning they will have to punch it before they're able to push this direction, giving you a sound cue. So if you don't hear this sound cue, then you know this entire area over here is
safe.
clear. Same thing with using the Thorn mines. If you place a Thorn mine here, and then maybe you place a Thorn mine over here, then you know that as long as they don't shoot this Thorn mine, or the Thorn mine doesn't activate, then this whole
I said I'll be on later. Let's run some rank. Trying to hit plat 5.
whole area here is clear. This essentially allows you to watch angles without actually watching angles, and barricades work the same way. Now, you don't want to barricade everything because you need to be able to rotate around. However, the fact that this barricade is here means they cannot jump through the window without you having the information, meaning now you don't have to watch every angle. You just have to wait for them to give you a cue on where they're coming from. So now, if I'm just playing here,
Peace
right,
out, Papa.
just waiting for them to do something, and then I hear a barbed wire punch over in archive.
Swing that!
Now I know that there is someone pushing archive side. Now you know where he is from the barbed wire. Now you need to get an advantage in the gunfight, right? So let's say I put a Thorn mine here on this wall. Then whenever it activates, I get the info on where he is, and I get the advantage because he has to be running away from the Thorn mine. You need to always be the one swinging. Now this can be harder than I make it sound. Because let's say, for example, this is a wrong situation. I actually did this on stream the other day and explained
Shout
how I
out
did it
Danielle.
wrong. Here's an exact example of what I did wrong. So if I quick peek this angle and I see mute here, and then I predict that he's going to swing this way, then if I hold the angle on where I think he's going to swing, then he just gets an easy pre-fire on me, and I have a huge disadvantage. Instead, there's a way that I can be the person swinging in this situation. For example, if I...
Bro, shout out Rod with the raid. Bro, what is Rod doing, bro? Like, you caught me off guard with this shit, bro. I just started. Like, I gotta react. Now I got a bunch of people in here. Oh, God, bro. Hello all people. What we doing today? How was Rod's stream, bro? We gotta get in a couple games, bro, in this new season, bro. I'm really enjoying this shit. But, listen, I'm just reacting to a video, all right, y'all? Like, I'm just reacting to a video. Shout out Rod, though. I need a, you know, a video for my channel. Shit, I need a little video for my channel. It's yo, I'm not gonna lie. I've been playing this season so much. I forget to like record videos and shit. It's really bad. I'm not gonna lie. How are y'all enjoying this new season though?
I quick peek mute here, predict he's gonna be here. I don't hold the angle. I hold like this. I hold behind the wall. This way, whenever I think that he's swinging that angle, right? Maybe he pre-fires, maybe something like that. Then I can swing into the angle after he has already peeked the angle. Wide swinging has a place in Siege, but if you are going
gotta
to
play
wide
for
swing,
sure.
you have to do it correctly. The thing about
Need to,
perspective
bruh.
in
Need
video
to.
games, right, is they have to move their crosshair further if I am up close than they would if I was far away. For wide swings, if I am up close to the angle, then I am moving faster, meaning it's harder for them to track me. As you can see by this side by side, the character that is up close looks like he's moving faster. And that's because in that situation, I genuinely have to move my crosshair further, right? Because relative to me, they are actually going further. If you are going to wide swing someone, try and make sure that it's not far away on an angle like this. Only wide swing them if they're up close on this angle here, because then when you wide swing relative to them, you will be moving much faster and it will be harder for them to track. You need to start taking gaps.
Sharpening
on
my skills,
attack.
bro.
So if you're droning sight, right, you see there's barbed wire here, there's a thorn mine on this door, then you see there's a thorn mine here, there's barbed wire on hookah door, there's a thorn mine on cool vibes. They have a lot of things covered for info. However, what you notice is they don't have anything holding this hallway here. That means there is a gap there. So you should immediately rotate as fast as possible over to take that gap. If they don't have any kind of utility holding this area, or maybe there is a slight lapse, right? Maybe for 10, 20 seconds where nobody's watching this hallway, you need to immediately take this space. Maybe you kill the guy over here that's watching Aqua, and then you peek over here and kill Thorn on Cool Vibes. All of a sudden, you just got 2 kills and got a ton of space for your team, just because you pushed in and you took a gap. If you want to be so good that your teammates don't matter, an important thing to understand is perspective. The weird thing about perspective is that Nomad cannot see me right now. That is because she is up too close to the angle.
To the angle.
Your camera is
I do that a
actually
lot.
in
I do
your mouth
this a
in
little
Siege.
bit.
So for example, if you're leaning to the left, right, Nomad is leaning to the right, the entire top of your head as well as your eye will be exposed before your mouth crosses the angle. This means if somebody is holding this angle here, then if you swing up close to the angle,
it's
they will
hot.
have a lot of extra time to react because they will see all of this before you ever see them. Something that you need to be doing if you want to be better than the rest of your teammates is positioning yourself to give yourself an advantage. Now, this is not the same as off angles. Off angles is obviously a great way to get an advantage by catching people off guard, but you can't take every fight at an off angle. Instead,
that's
you need to
cold.
be positioning yourself in proper locations to be getting an
Oh,
advantage.
that's good.
An example
Oh,
of
that's
a
good.
position to give you an advantage could be behind half wall here. You don't only
That's really
have to
good.
peek one specific spot, right? You can peek anywhere here,
Whew.
so that way they cannot pre-fire your head. This is in stark contrast to right here, because the issue with right here is, yes, you can swing left and you can swing right, but the problem with it is they can just push you and swing you, and there is nowhere you can hide. You physically cannot get in a spot where they cannot peek you, because either you're exposed to here or you're exposed to here. Now, another good spot to sit, and my personal favorite, is on the B bomb here. This is because you have a few different options for peeking them. One, if they try to push in the breach, you can hold off angles kind of haphazardly and catch them off guard whenever they push in. Another option is you can just swing the breach here. And yes, although they can pre-fire you, this angle and this angle here become different. Because if they're watching here, right, and holding a pixel here, you could swing from back here or they could swing from here. Meaning there are multiple spots where you can swing, giving you an advantage again. You need to start abusing time on defense. On defense, time is your friend, because if the time runs out, then you win the round. Meaning
Type
if you
shit.
can just delay enough time, even without getting any kills, you will win. This also causes the attackers to feel the pressure of time, making them rush through the round, especially if they wait until the last second, and then that causes them to lose the round because they are making mistakes because they're playing too fast. So how do you use this to your advantage on defense effectively? Well, the best way to do it is to hold various areas of
holes?
the map, and then as they push you, fall off without dying. So for example, if I'm playing inside of here, I just kind of try to make it harder for them to drone me, because the harder it is for them to find out where I am, the more time they have to spend to find me. So if I'm playing CC here, I need a rotate out, also probably the hatch open as well. So this way there's a way for me to fall off if I'm getting pressured too hard without dying. Now, your goal here is not to get killed.
Listen,
It is to waste this-
I do this strat with smoke, man. I have a castle this up, this door right here. Castle this door up and castle up the window. And I just play with smoke, and then I just don't. Oh my god, it's so amazing.
much time as possible.
good.
So, for example, right,
I know this strat, man. I already know this
What they have
strat.
to do is they have to go to the armory balcony and
I made
shoot
this
the mute
strat.
jammer out.
Come
Once
on,
they
man.
shoot the mute jammer, then they can start to drone me. Now, my goal now is to shoot as many of their drones as possible. Now they know where I am. Now, what I should not be doing is holding angles on them and trying to contest them as they do this. The goal, remember, is not to get kills. So once they start pushing in this door, instead of peeking them and taking this fight, I should either drop the hatch or I should fall back into 90. By this time, you will usually have wasted 45 seconds to a minute off of the round. And yet, it's still a 5v5, meaning they've taken some space, but they would have gotten that space for free had you not been contesting it. So maybe, for example, right, you have a rotate here, and then you also have a rotate here. Now, all of a sudden, you are also holding fountain, and they always have the risk of you pushing back in to try to take CCTV. What this means is there's a good chance that they're going to have a person watching their flank or spend the time to take fountain here. This
Man,
will
I just want to
delay
play Siege
more
already,
time
bro. I'm
and
ready,
create
man.
more pressure. Now, after you have delayed all this time, what ends up happening is now they're going to have to rush to get the plant down because they don't have a lot of time, meaning you can get the advantage because you can just shotgun them through the wall because they cannot get off the plant without losing the round because they have no time left. A very important thing that you need to remember if you want your teammates not to matter is positioning. Now, in my opinion, the most important aspect of positioning is not sitting in corners. I know a lot of you guys do this because if I'm sitting in this corner, then what ends up happening is I will just get swung and pre-fired and there's nothing I can do about it. Now, this is a problem because of two things. One, if I am sitting in this corner here, I'm not moving. The saying is swing or be swung for a reason because if you're swinging, you have peeker's advantage. The other side of it is if you are just sitting in a corner, then they'll have already checked every single angle before they get to you. So, for example, right, they'll check this corner here, they'll check this head angle, they'll check this door, they check behind this couch here, and now there's only one spot left for them to check before they go in the room. It's this corner. They know exactly where you are, and they can just go around the corner, pre-fire you, and there's nothing that you can do
unless you have
to
a
win
shotgun.
that gunfight. So instead of sitting in a corner, you want to be sitting in off angles. So there's no cover here. This is objectively a bad spot to hold, but the reason that it works is because he wouldn't expect you here. So whenever Buck is checking angles and then he pre-fires the corner, then all of a sudden you're at this off angle and he...
I don't know, man. I sit behind this couch quite a bit on Villa, and I just get pre-fired in the head. So
does not expect you to be
I
here,
don't know.
allowing you to kill him while he's not even looking at you. Because if I'm clearing these angles, right, I check this angle, I check by the
I get
wall,
one-tapped
I
a
check
lot
the
on this
couch,
fucking
then
angle,
I have
man.
to flick to his head to kill him. Whereas Buck already has his crosshair on my head, meaning you're giving the enemy
Probably just a skill
disadvantage
issue.
in the fight. So when they swing, he swings, and you get the kill. You should be using info to very quickly and sneakily clear rooms on attack. So what I mean by that is, let's say you're playing Snake. You see VIP is clear, you see close penthouse is clear, you push in here, then you should be quickly popping a drone just to make sure maybe there's a vigil in the area, right? You see a zombie's there, you hope that she doesn't see your drone, right? You want to check and find her location sneakily, because if she knows that you know where she is, then she can play accordingly. Instead, try a quick peek areas, right? You see a zombie there, maybe she doesn't see your drone, and now she's going to continue holding the angle because she doesn't know that you know. Then you can peek this angle and kill her. Another example is, let's say a zombie is hiding in this corner here, right? You don't just want to fully drone her because now she sees your drone, she shoots it, and now you have no info on her, and she knows that
I
you
do
know
this a
where
lot.
she
I
is.
do that a lot.
Instead, pretend to misdrone her. You're droning, but you kind of like barely see her foot here. But if I'm droning here and I see your foot, then I need to not look at her. I need to specifically not look at her. Get off
Okay.
my drone, push
That's-
up. Now,
that's
because she
good.
doesn't know
That's
that
good.
I know,
That's
she
good
cannot
info.
play off of that info. and
That's
I can
good info.
pre-fire her and kill her because
That's
she
good
won't
tech.
move.
That's
She
good tech.
thinks that she snuck
That's
past
very
the
good
drone.
tech.
The goal is basically to not let the enemy know that you droned them, because then they don't have the information that you know where they are and they will not play off of it. You need to stop crouch walking. There are a few aspects of crouch walking that make it objectively worse than just slow walking. One is if you want to start walking quietly, crouching makes a loud noise. So for example, if I'm trying to sneak up on Thermite, if I'm walking over here, then I'm like, oh, I need to be quiet. Then when I crouch, it makes a very loud sound that Thermite can hear. Where if I do the exact same thing, but instead I start alt walking, instead of a loud sound being made, the only thing that happens is the sound of my footsteps disappears. The other issue is it makes you a sitting duck because you're moving much more slowly. This means if he swings this angle, I can't immediately go to the side and try to dodge his bullets. Whereas if I'm standing, it makes it much easier to move around. I can move around faster, I swing angles faster, and overall I'm just a harder target to hit if I'm standing. Along with the aspect where if Thermite is sitting in this corner here and I want to pre-fire him, I want to move very fast into the angle. If I'm crouch walking and then want to pre-fire this corner, it'll make a much louder sound and take longer to stand up and pre-fire this angle, so I'm moving faster, than it would if I was alt walking.
I've
and
never
then just
seen
press
anyone
this
like
button.
crouch
I'm
too much in
instantly
this
at full
game, I'm not
speed
gonna
and
lie.
made no sound to start moving faster. You need to be okay with losing in ranked. And by that, I mean fully not even trying to win. The goal when playing ranked should be to learn. This is because if you are trying
Okay,
to
I was
win,
about to say,
you're never
alright.
going to try new things. You're always just going to be doing what you already know to give you the highest possibility of winning that match. The problem with this is you never get better, and it's why a lot of people end up staying hard stuck. Because all you're doing is you're playing the same operators, you're doing the same strategies, you're using the same utility, you're playing the same way. If you never try out new things that might fail and cause you to lose the game, then you'll never improve so that way you win future games. Instead, you're just going to stagnate and always be stuck in your rank. Instead, you need to try out new operators. You need to try new pushes. Try any kind of new tactic just to see if it works, because if it does, you will now be a better player. And every time you fail, you now know what doesn't work, which also makes you a better player. This
Yeah,
will
okay,
make
okay.
you
I need
lose
to hear
more
that. I
games
need
in
to
the
hear that.
short term. However, in the long term, you will be a better player because of it, and I promise you, in the long term, you will see your rank go up.
I
Which,
needed to
if
hear
you want
this.
to rank
Okay,
up,
that's
this is
good.
the best
That's a
way
good-
to do
that's a
it.
good,
If you're playing on attack, as we talked about before, the defense has the advantage because
Advice,
of
good
time. But
advice.
you can mitigate the amount of the advantage that the defense actually has. So let's say they are playing in gym, right? If I punch this window, you can see they are playing gym. To mitigate the advantage the defense has, you need to decide at the beginning of the round, where do you want to plant? If you're solo queue, you should always take the diffuser. So let's say, for example, right, I
do that
decide
already.
that the spot that I want to plant is in here or maybe over here. Where do I have to go and what do I have to take to get this bomb down? So, for example, if I want to plant here, I need to be worried about anybody playing over here in cache with lots of mute jammers, anybody in CCTV. So that means I need to take this side of the map. If I'm going to take this side of the map, right, you just have to drone. The goal is to always be doing something with the mindset.
Okay, so I'm gonna try something new when I play Clubhouse next, and we're defending Jim. I'm gonna play in CC. With a zombie no, not a zombie, but I'm gonna play in CC with somebody.
Of not trying to kill the defenders, but take the space that you need to get the bomb down. If it
'Cause it's
doesn't
just-
have
it's just
anything to
free
do with getting
space.
The bomb down, then stop doing it. For example, Mute is
Probably
playing
Thorn.
over here, right? I see him over in cache. I drone him out. I know he's playing over there. So now I know that I need to take this space. So I'll throw a flashbang in here, jump in with the flashbang that gets him off the angle, and now I have more space. Now, if they don't reinforce these walls, then I can open up this wall and kill Mute. This gives me cache now. Now that you have cache control here, next you need to take construction and logi. So usually people have a rotate here and maybe they have a reinforcement here. You need to see if there's anyone in construction. If there is someone in construction, go to this window and it's much easier to get them out of construction. However, as you can see, no one in construction right now, but
They always
there
play
is
logi.
someone in logi. Now
Always.
you need to take construction, and to take construction, you need to get him out of logi. Follow the gunfight rules that I gave you before, right? You need to get info on him. So I just droned him, for example, so now I know the angle that he is holding. The best thing to do, since he's holding an angle like that, is just to pre-fire him. So now that you have this space, you need to
Pre-fire.
find out
Yeah, I
where
always
they
forget to
are
pre-fire.
on site, right? That would be the next logical step. So if you see, let's say it's a 1v1 and a zombie is playing in bathroom, you obviously don't just want to go here because now you have to take a gunfight. Your goal is to get the plant down in the easiest possible way. So instead, you want to now go into logi and use the rotate that they've probably placed here. And now you can get in this way and a zombie is still in bathroom. So So now you have the advantage where you could possibly go here, fake a plant and peek, or you can actually just get the plant down if she doesn't think that you're planting, right? Maybe you throw a flashbang so that way you deafen her for a second while you start getting the plant down, and now you might actually be able to get the bomb down without her peeking you. Then you always want to be the person swinging, and then you want to fall off the angle here because you don't want her to be able to take a gunfight on you. Then you can play over here, but you want to be careful about where she's pushing, and then you just want to make sure you're always the person swinging. So if you take a gunfight, you fall off, and then you re-peek into the angle.
Okay. All right.